And why did you name your studio Warpzone?
The name actually works from two angles. So my husband suggested Warpzone, and he was thinking of Welcome to Warpzone from Super Mario. And I thought about Warp from Star Trek. So it works for both.
And we watched the trailer on the Steam of the hammer thing.
Yeah.
And it was really good. And
Thank
we
you.
saw there are some dwarf and some story background. So we are curious about what's the origination of these ideas, like artistic styles of this. There are like a big devil dragon there, and it let me relate to some novels from Tolkien.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
The project name for our game before we had actually decided a title was They Delved Too Deep, and that is a quote from Tolkien.
Oh.
So yeah, we're thinking a lot of Tolkien stuff. And we don't actually have the dragon in the game yet, but we're gonna have boss monsters. And one of them might be a dragon or a balrog or
Because we know that you have a very you joined a Paradox Interactive very at the beginning. And why did you leave Paradox Interactive and started to build your own game studio?
I joined Paradox when they were like 20 people, and when I left I think there were 300 maybe. So it was a very different company, and it was fantastic to be on that journey, to be a part of that. But I also wanted to make something of my own and do the same journey with my own company. So me and my husband, who also worked at Paradox, we quit at the same time and started up this because we wanted to have our own thing.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And when did you start to do this? While you were working or in Paradox, or you left there and then you came up with this idea?
It was after. So we quit, and then we had a long summer vacation, and then we started working. And I mean, we have a lot of ideas. Ideas come cheap. It's the execution that matters. And this was one idea that we felt we can do a small and simple game, just getting started, but then, scope management is the hardest part of game development. So it got bigger. So now it's a bigger game, yeah.
And it's a simulation game.
Yeah, simulation game.
Yeah. So we are curious about what's new here in this simulation game.
So I like to read about other people playing Dwarf Fortress. Do you know what Dwarf Fortress is? No, it's a super complex game, and it hardly has graphics. It's just text and symbols on the screen.
Yeah.
But it's very, very complex a simulation. The dwarves can break their pinky finger and all kinds of stuff. But it's too complex for me. I can't play it.
Yeah.
And I've seen many other people that say, I like to read about other people playing this game, but I can't play it. So I want to make this game that is beautiful and easier to get into than
so
Dwarf
more people
Fortress.
can play it.
Yeah.
And how did you stay motivated because you have already started this studio from 2016?
Yeah.
And for now it has been 3 years.
Well, in the beginning it was just nice to be at home. I have kids too, so we could work from home and take care of the kids quite a lot, so that was nice. And then we got an office and it started feeling more like real. And then we got in more people, so I think it helps when it's always something happening. Everything's always evolving and I'm constantly learning. For the prototype I did animations, for example, and I've never done animations before, but it was so much fun. I just love to learn new things, and with this studio I get to learn constantly.
So every day we get something new, and it's such a good experience.
Yeah.
And why did you start this studio in Stockholm? Like, because your home is Stockholm?
Yeah.
And Stockholm has a lot of like wonderful game studios here.
Yeah.
And what do you think of that? Right?
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I started a network for indie developers, so smaller studios. So we have meetups every month, and we have lectures to each other, and just talk and socialize. And we have 100 people in that network of small companies in Stockholm. So there are a lot of us. Yeah.
So you can share your ideas?
Yeah. And we can share like, I need to get a new accounting firm. Do you use a good one? And then we can knowledge share.
Will the local government provide some help to the companies?
No, not really. No, I think they feel that people in Stockholm are already doing well, so we're not getting a lot of help. Right. But up north, they do get a lot of support from the government.
Like in Finland? Or in...
No, in north of Sweden too. Yeah.
And we checked your website that you have joined STIN Incubator.
Yeah.
And what have you learned from there?
That was really good in the start because we weren't very formal. We hardly knew what a board meeting was. Why would we need a board and all that stuff? And they helped us set a proper structure so we can build the company and become bigger. And they also helped us with the documents. Like when we first hired someone, they helped us bring out the what's it called? Contract. Yeah, the hiring contract.
And have your goals and values changed along your journey?
Not really, but we have talked about them and formalized them and written them down, and I think that's really helpful because that can help you know what kind of connections you want to make with other companies if you know your values are solid. So do we want to do collaborations with gambling companies, for example? And the answer for us is no, and we know that now because all the owners, we talked about this, and we talked about what kind of values are important to us. What kind of company do we want to build? I think it's really important to have that dialogue and have it not just one time.
And as you mentioned, like at the beginning, you have a lot of ideas. And that's what our teacher told us, that if you want to be really doing something, you have to think of or come up with a lot of ideas and then choose one. What is another idea baby you have killed but you really like?
Well, we just started on this game. So in this company, we haven't killed any ideas yet. Okay. But we have a long list of ideas that could be games, and we're not making them yet. So, for example, I want to make this space.
During the whole process, have you ever had to give up control of something? Can you think of some, or everything is under control?
I mean, we did give up some control when we got a publisher, because they handle some of the things for us. Like they set up a Facebook page for us, and I'm not even an administrator on that Facebook page, and that feels a little bit weird. But I think it's good because I don't have time to do everything anyway. But otherwise, I like my control, and I like to keep it. Yeah.
But would you think it's a good thing to throw all those stuff to the publisher and you can focus on the game? 100%?
Yeah, and we still talk with players, so we're most active on Discord and Reddit for apps. So we still talk to the players, but not on every channel. And
what do you see as the highest risks now? And if you do have one, what do you plan for responding to it?
The biggest risk for us is that the game does poorly. If the game doesn't sell good, then because we can't keep running the studio if we don't get income, right? And to mitigate that, we collaborated with the publisher. So they give us a much bigger reach. We do everything we can to make players see and find the game, because I know there are a lot of people that like these kind of games. So I think it could do well, but people need to see it.
And I am a woman player. Like there are different. I heard from my friends that there are different players when they are playing games. Some are killers, some are explorers, and some are socialists, and some are trying to achieve some achievements there. So what do you think in different stage they add something to the game to let it become bigger and to attract different player rules? So
those categories were they're talking about MMOs from the start, but it does apply to every player, and I think the social player will be less satisfied with our game from the beginning, because it's not going to release with co-op or multiplayer of any kind. It's just going to be single player. But the other three types, they should like the game from the start.
That's great. I'm kind of explorer in the game, so I really like the concept if you add this value into the game.
Yeah, I'm an explorer and achievement type. I like those achievements.
And did you make any really smart ideas or decisions? Can you elaborate some?
I think the one really smart thing we did was we took a chance when we didn't have income, but we put more money in the company, and then we hired an artist. Because we had a working prototype, but it looked bad. I mean, I did the art and animation, and I'm not a graphics person. But when we actually hired someone, in 3 months the game looked fantastic, and then we could start to talk to people seriously about investments and publishing deals and stuff like that. So to actually dare to make that first investment, because it was scary. I mean, what happens if no one picks up on this, or if it doesn't work? So it was scary, but it was the smart decision.
We saw his portfolio on the website. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But during the hiring process, did you have other multiple choices, and why did you choose his artistic style?
We had an ad out for graphics persons, and we had several who were interested, and they did an art test for us and everything, and we felt like no one really suited perfectly. But then a friend of mine from this indie network in Stockholm, she said, well, this guy applied for a job with me, but I think he would be better for you. And that was Daniel, so that worked perfectly.
Well, this is how the network is working.
Yes,
perfect.
The network is super important, for sure.
Do you have regular events or activities inside the network?
Yes.
So basically, everyone in game industry in Stockholm.
I know a lot of people. Yeah.
We want to know more about the Hammer team.
Yeah.
And what is your target market at first, and then and we want to know that for now you are targeting on PC platform, and will it be on Xbox or PS4 or on mobile devices in the future?
For platforms, it's going to be PC only at release, but it builds on Mac and PC as well. We've made the engine ourselves as well. So we have build servers on Mac and Linux also. So we could release on that if the game really takes off. And if it's a hit, we're probably going to have more platforms as well.
Have you thought about making this game exclusive on Epic Store? You must know Epic Store.
Yeah, I know Epic Store.
And they got a more better service to developer. So Steam got 30% of the income from the developer, but the Epic Store only got 12%.
Yeah.
So, have you thought about it?
Oh, of course. I mean, I think we'll be available on Epic Store if they want to have us. But I would prefer to be available on as many platforms as possible.
Beneath fields of strife and war, we fed the forge since days of yore. Stream of steel, rise like tankards foam from anvils deep in mountain home. Stone and ore, heart of hold, flow from veins to ancient mold. Delve deep, dig wide for shine and glow, never find tales of dragons below. Prove you're fit to be the Mountain King in the world of Hammer!